What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Geek Corner segment brought to you by the Coach Steve Show podcast, a segment of the Coach Steve Show podcast. So if you go like and subscribe to that, you'll get the Geek Corner segment where me and my friend Logan Lee created this, where we have talked about movies. It's been mainly Marvel movies, of course, but just Geek Corner, we can talk movies, TV shows. It's been, a lot of it's Marvel. We'll get Logan back on, but these are times where I can get my thoughts out. So welcome back to another segment of Geek Corner. We're going to continue in the Marvel world. So again, go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel with the Coach Steve Show, and you can get the playlist of the Geek Corner segment. So we're going to dive right in. Of course, the Doctor Strange 2 trailer has been out for a little bit, and theories upon theories upon theories. I'm going to try to talk about a bunch of them. Some shorter than others, some longer than others, and some are all going to come together, but I'm going to try to do it piece by piece where it's not, 4 theories in one. So let's dive in. So one theory that I've seen, and it was posted, and again, some of these we have to take with a grain of salt. One theory is that Tobey Maguire is going to arise as his Spider-Man character. Now, we've seen in the early 2000s where he played at Spider-Man in 3 movies, and then he was supposed to get a Spider-Man 4, and then they ended up canceling or, stopping the movie. And then it's been 20 years or so, and then we finally got him back when he came back in Spider-Man No Way Home with him, Tom Holland, and Andrew Garfield. So there was a post in the Multiverse of Madness where it says, Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness rumors, Spider-Man Tobey Maguire tries to confront Wanda, but doesn't go too well. It leads into a quick 1-versus-1 sequence against each other. So this was the latest rumor. Now, the one before that was that just straight up Tobey Maguire is going to reprise his role as Spider-Man and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, again, one theory we talked about is changing the characters, because in Spider-Man No Way Home, Tom Holland and the other Spider-Mans, Tobey and Andrew Garfield, wanted to fix the villains because they are the type of Spider-Man, they don't want to kill people. Doctor Strange seems okay with death, and he understands that the timelines and universes, they have to go by a certain way. I think he understands that point in time that he cannot change. But Tom Holland wants to help heal people. Then they all feel the same way. So the last time we saw him was there. Now, Doctor Strange at the end of the movie casts a spell by Tom Holland's request that everybody forgets that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Now, questions have arisen. Does this spell affect other universes? I don't think so. I think it only affects this universe, but I think it's a fair question to ask. And then another question is, did that spell affect Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire? When they go back to their universe, are they going to remember what happened? Because it sends back the villains. Now they've changed the villains. So when the villains go back, when Green Goblin and Dr. Octavius and everybody else, when they go back to their universe, are they going to go back to being evil? Are they going to go back to that world and be who they got changed into? And are they going to remember what just happened? So just a lot of questions that I think in a way, you almost have to answer. So are we going to see these villains again, even on top of Tobey Maguire? Now, the question is, I think Tobey Maguire's done playing Spider-Man. I know that 4th movie was, canceled, but then again, we never saw him again. Not really even in acting. And I think he was okay with this cameo because he's seen the success of Marvel. I mean, I'm sure he got paid a lot, but I think he just really wanted to say, okay, I want to play Spider-Man just a little bit one more time. This is a great storyline. That's the only way I'm going to come back. And it seemed like they had a good time together, all 3 of them. So why would we see Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man? Well, in Doctor Strange, he's going to have to see different universes, hence Multiverse of Madness. And American Chavez, who is in the comic book, can jump through universes. So when they're jumping through universes, are we going to get a glimpse of the original Spider-Man? Are we going to see that world? And he's going to see Tobey Maguire again, or like we get a picture when Doctor Strange is out, like in What If, where we see buildings of New York starting to disappear into the sky, and is a universe tearing apart. When Tobey Maguire goes back to his world, is the same thing happening because now the timeline is messed up, or this universe? And again, let's not forget what happened in Loki, and we'll get to Loki in a later episode. But that's the question: is why would Tom Holland, or I keep saying Tom Holland, why would Tobey Maguire be back as Spider-Man? And it's either Doctor Strange jumps through universes and finds that one. Does for some reason Doctor Strange go to him for help? Because does Doctor Strange remember the spell he put on? Does he remember Peter Parker Spider-Man? Does he not remember that Tom Holland is Spider-Man, but he remembers this Spider-Man, so he needs Spider-Man? I don't know. Does American Chavez say, hey, we need help in this multiverse, battle? And so Tobey Maguire is one of them? I have no idea. Is in this world, this universe, because in Tobey Maguire's universe, as far as we know, there's no certain type of Avengers. Are they going to tweak some of that world and somehow he gets into that? I have no idea. I have no rhyme or reason as to why he would be in there. Then the second is, if this is true, why would Tobey Maguire be fighting Wanda? This hints at maybe, if this is true, Wanda could possibly end up being some type of villain. Now, what kind of level of villain is yet to be seen. Because obviously we ended WandaVision with, she had to say goodbye. She actually had to say goodbye to Vision, but she had to say goodbye to these kids in this world she created. And I'll do an episode on why WandaVision was the kickoff to Doctor Strange. We'll get to that before, we got time before the movie comes out. So she, this world she created, whether it's a multiverse or a universe that she created, why would she be the villain? Well, does she want we won't get into the villain stuff later, but what type of villain is she going to be? She's going to be just, okay, I'm going to help you until I realize how do I get my kids back, and doesn't care about the rules of the multiverse, doesn't care what's going on. So Doctor Strange and them have to stop her, whether it's, hey, I'm not necessarily, kind of like a Civil War where not necessarily one of them is the villain on each side, but they're going to do things the way they believe, no matter what the rules are. So it's, okay, Doctor Strange and whoever, I'm not going to kill you, but you're not going to stop me. I'm going to get my kids back. Is she going to be that type of villain? Or does she start off by helping, and then when she does realize she can get to her kids, she says, screw everybody else? Because it kind of seemed that way in WandaVision, where, she had come out and said, leave us alone. You're going to regret coming back in here, where she necessarily isn't hurting anybody, but she is done caring. Because she's gone through a lot, lost her family. We've seen that in WandaVision. We saw a glimpse of it in Age of Ultron. We saw a glimpse of it from Civil War, like the stuff that she's had to go through in Infinity War. And it's kind of done. Avengers are sort of broken up. So is she going to be that type of villain? And so again, the big question is if it's true that he reprises his role, which I do think would be pretty cool. But again, I don't think Tobey Maguire would ever do it unless it made sense. The Spider-Man No Way Home made a lot of sense for him to kind of, bring them together, to really show that this multiverse is real. We've had glimpses, and kind of show how this is true. And then how the movie ended, where Tom Holland kind of is going towards the original, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where he has the radio and everything. But him trying to fight Wanda doesn't surprise me because, he's going to fight whoever. He's a superhero. But so it's just weird how out of all the places that they would end up in maybe Tobey Maguire's universe, are they just trying to poke at our childhoods? Because I think that'd be awesome. You're going to kind of glimpse back into that world. And I mean, the director of Doctor Strange, Sam Raimi, I hope I said his name right, filmed those Spider-Mans. And so it's not out of the realm of question. It's not crazy outside the realm of thinking that, he wants to dive back into that. Maybe there's some tweaks of those movies he kind of wants to put in there. Maybe there's a version of Doctor Strange in that world. And that's how Tobey Maguire figures out. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe in his world, things are starting to go wrong. And he starts looking like, do I have a wizard? Do I? And that would have to mean he has to remember things. And is the only thing they forgot was that Spider-Man they met? Was like, man, I remember meeting like another Spider-Man, but his name, I can't remember his name. So do they remember what happened? And so that's why he goes looking for somebody. Maybe there is a variant of Doctor Strange in his world, and that's how he's able to multiverse. Maybe American Chavez comes from that world. But it's just weird. But then what are we going to see Andrew Garfield then? Are they going to bring him back? It'd be unfair to bring Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back and not Tom Holland in that world. But, if that's true, that's going to be awesome. But again, if he is back, is he going to play a cameo and just show this fight scene and then they leave that universe? That'd be a little unfair. So does he hop along with Doctor Strange later on? Does Doctor Strange go looking for Tobey Maguire? And then, is it outside the realm of Andrew Garfield coming back? They've already seen it talking about filming a new movie for him. Is it outside of the possibility that some of these reshoots, they bring him in? I don't know. It'd be awesome to kind of see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back. But again, it'd be unfair because you don't have, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I feel that'd be pretty unfair, but we know that story. I'd be okay with seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And then maybe, because I don't want to see, no offense to Tobey Maguire. He's a great Spider-Man. He's the one that we grew up with. I think he's done playing Spider-Man. I think if he does show up in Doctor Strange, it kind of has to be it. That's the end of his Spider-Man. And it could kind of be a send-off, like the Spider-Man No Way Home is like, okay, I'm looking to you guys. He kind of looked to Tom Holland. Okay, this is your Spider-Man. Maybe in the Multiverse of Madness. If this is even connected, and they want to do another Spider-Man with Venom and Andrew Garfield, could this be a way for like Tobey Maguire kind of, passing on the torch? And No Way Home at the end, it kind of looked that way, like, okay, you're Spider-Man, we're going to help you out. Could the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because the last cut I've heard, it's 3 hours, a little over 3 hours, so they have a lot to fill in. Could that be a part of it, of like he's helping out, Andrew Garfield comes back, and something happens between those two, and it's like, okay, I'm going to send you off, you can be Spider-Man now, you're younger than I am, Tom Holland's younger, like, you guys go be Spider-Man. That'd be awesome, but, I don't know what you guys all think. If Tobey Maguire needs to be in this movie, how could he be in this movie? What role is he going to take? If that's true, to fight Wanda, well, that's not going to go well. We've seen even like Thanos try to fight them. But let me in the comments, guys, if you're listening, let me know what you think. Does it make sense for Tobey Maguire to be Spider-Man again after just seeing him in Spider-Man No Way Home, to see him again in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? And if we do see him, does he have to play just a cameo role where he's there for 10 minutes? Does it have to be a role like Spider-Man No Way Home, or can it be a little bit in between, like an in-between? And then if he does show up, why? Like, did Doctor Strange just bounce around and go find him? Did somebody in his universe that we're going to see because of Sam Raimi, filming, maybe he's like, oh, I kind of want to do this and tweak that, okay, and everything else. Will we see glimpses of the Green Goblin in them? Will we see the effects? Do they have to revert the villains back to being villains and get that, point in time, that universe back the way it needs to be? Who knows? I personally think it'd be cool to see Tobey Maguire back, but I don't know. But let me guys know what you think. That's been another segment of Geek Corners, brought to you by the Coach Steve Show podcast. Remember to please like and subscribe. Follow the podcast wherever you find your podcast. Rate it, be a friend, tell a friend, all that good stuff. Go keep reading those theories, guys, but don't read too much into it. I'll be on here to talk about it. I'm sure saying stuff that everybody else is saying. Thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned for another theory episode. I've got a whole page of theories. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one.